Twilight's Nightmare, Chapter 28, Part 8. Luna's expression froze, becoming as if ice, completely expressionless for a moment.
So be it.
Her voice whispered from beside Candace's ear. Luna circled Candace, slowly prowling like a hungry predator. Luna spoke, her tone somehow resonating with power, each word perfectly pronounced with deadly seriousness.
Do you offer me your obedience? Will you pledge your obedience to the knights, your sovereign? To me? Yes,
Was Candace's only reply.
Your magic is a treasure that I may require. Do you pledge it to my service? Affirmative.
Candace intoned. Luna moved closer, her ethereal tail trailing along one of Candace's wings, and the Night Princess inhaled deeply, showing her fangs.
I may have need to let your blood be spilt. Do you offer it? Will you pledge it to be mine to spend as I will? Definitely,
Candace answered. Luna was so close that Candace should have been able to feel her body heat. Instead, a cool chill seemed to be rolling off of her. The temperature of the room dropped as the darkness in the room seemed to become even deeper. The flowing mane and tail began to twist around both Candace and the chains, frost starting from the points of contact. One by one, the links began to shatter, fragments of metal scattering as Luna started to support Candace's shivering body.
Do you pledge your life to me?
Luna purred seductively.
I do.
Candace answered with her heart. Luna completed her circle around Candace, her mane and tail now holding the whole of Candace's weight without issue. She leaned in, muzzle to muzzle, eyes narrowed and glowing intently. Luna's magic thrummed as she began to nuzzle Candace's neck, forcing her head back. Candace could feel her heart race. Luna's teeth were tracing along her neck, the steely power of the alicorn's body holding her in place as feathers caressed her. Candace's heart pounded as she watched her heated breath fog upon contact with the frigid air. It started first as a light nibble, the fangs scratching her flesh before they found their desired point. 4 pricks of pain bloomed as the Night Princess closed her mouth. A moment later, something more intimate, something deeper inside of her felt like it was being bitten. Suddenly, she could feel the immense power of Luna's wellspring pressing against her, no flesh or space separating them. Luna's hunger, her desire, burned bright within it. Candace's own wellspring seemed to reach out towards Luna, not just letting her take what she will, but offering more energy to her. Candace's magic flared in response, her world becoming bliss. Candace found herself fully awake and aware, all of her senses under her own control. The haze of pleasure lifted, the excitement of what had just happened was suddenly gone, and she was left calm, if a little confused. She had no idea how she got here, she just found herself on her own in a long, dark stone hallway. The towering form of Luna and her thestral aspect advanced out of the darkness, eyes hard, but expression kind.
Walk with me?
She quietly asked, turning and beckoning with a wing. Candace looked upon her with a bit of wonder and a smile of gratitude. For the first time, she felt as if someone truly accepted her. She moved smoothly to follow Luna, after taking a moment to recover due to the jarring switch-off of all the sensations. Somehow, Luna seemed more graceful than before, but here she was, not sensual. She was a solemn goddess, freely radiating her power. Her mane billowed out into the distance, blending with the surroundings. It was almost as if the entire world is made up of her. Candace had a smile of appreciation upon seeing that. She felt honored. It was clear that very few ponies even got a chance to see Luna like this. Candace still felt physical desires for Luna, but for now they were put to the side, buried under a sense of gratitude and awe. Just being here, she felt accepted. She was being welcomed by some pony that she loved, and it was the first time that she had ever felt like this before. It was wonderful. As they walked, the walls began to be lined with paintings, each one of a night guard standing proud. Each of them had a little hint that betrayed their personality. Whoever painted these must have known them very well, indeed it captured these little traits, immortalizing them in paint. It was only slight, but she could see Luna's eyes trace along some of the images, but not a single hint of emotion crossed her features. As they drew closer, the paintings changed, shifting. Some aging, showing a pony on their deathbed. Most shifted to show horrifically wounded ponies, some little more than gore stains. The paintings continued to change one by one as they walked on. First 10, then 100, then finally after more than 1,000, the corridor ended.
Prior night guards?
Candace quietly said as she noted the implications of the paintings. Their fate reminded her of the vision of Twilight and Luna being attacked, the memories of the skeletal remains still haunting her far more than what she saw here.
Yes,
Luna said quietly. Candace took it in, looking at the history, looking to see what Luna saw in them as much as she was capable, trying to take the time to understand Luna's gift of letting her be here. Showing what respect she could for Luna. In the place where the last painting should go sat a full-length mirror. Within it, Candace could see her body, arched in pleasure, glowing with her magic. Luna wrapped around her as her fangs sunk deep into her neck.
Why am I glowing?
Candace asked in a whisper to herself. Luna didn't respond as she moved to block the mirror, her mane lifting 3 items from the shadows. A chalice filled with what appeared to be the night sky made liquid, the second an ornate knife, and the last a simple red ribbon.
You have already pledged yourself to me, yet I will give you one final chance to change your fate. So few of my servants die of old age, most perish in terrible ways against worse foes. Dying alone. All I can promise you is that I will not spend your life frivolously, and it will be spent to keep Equestria safe.
Luna looked to the ribbon.
All you do is select your path and step through the mirror. Take the ribbon, and your last moments will be the most pleasurable ones that you have experienced. But you will not live to see the sunrise.
She looked to the blade.
Take up the blade, and touching the mirror will be your last memory.
Luna looked towards the cup with a hint of a smile.
Or you may drink of the night and walk forward into my service.
The smile faded, and Luna looked at Candace with cold, emotionless eyes.
Whichever you pick, I will have your strength, your sacrifice that will help protect Equestria. None will think less of you if you wish to seek your fate now instead of standing between our charges and the nightmares that are out there. You have 1 hour to make your choice.
Luna decreed. Candace made her choice without a single bit of doubt or hesitation. Looking around at the choices available to her, Candace looked at Luna standing in front of her.
I have been presented with 3 options before me, but when I look at them, I see 4 choices. What if I just choose you?
Luna's eyes narrowed. Not a single other reaction was visible as she asked.
Are you sure? You accepted me wholly as I am. You're the first that I can recall ever doing so, and I return to you the same. I accept you for all that you are, for who you are. I do so without reservation. I love you. There is no more to the truth than that.
Candace stated with her heart open for Luna to see. The smile that crossed Luna's fanged mouth was truly feral. The look in her eyes was delighted. She let her eyes flick to the offered items, one by one letting them dissolve into the shadows, the chalice last. She advanced and loomed over Candace. Seeing Luna like this with the desire that she had brought back the feelings of when Luna started her ministrations upon her neck, the desire beginning to make itself known once more. She stayed still for a time, her confidence in her choice unshaken even if she didn't know where this would lead. All she could do was give her heart to Luna and trust in what she would do with it. Luna's power flared around her, the world becoming nothing but Luna and darkness. Luna lowered her head with her eyes now glowing like 2 silver moons staring straight into Candace's own.
Then you, my dear Candace, are mine.
With a sudden motion, Candace found herself in the same position as she could see herself in the mirror. Luna's fangs savagely sunk into her neck as powerful wings wrapped around her. Like last time, there was mild pain and pleasure. Unexpectedly, with a twist of her head, Luna ripped her head back, leaving a large open wound. Instead of blood pouring out, the freezing darkness forced its way in. Despite the pain, Candace opened herself yielding, willing every bit of her to Luna, giving her magic, her body, or at least whatever she counted as having at the moment. Luna plucked a single star from her mane. Lifting it with her aura, she pressed it against Candace's heart. The mass of it was burning so intense that she couldn't tell if it was hot or cold, as it seared her coat. Luna's hooves pulled her into a kiss. Candace got the copper taste of her own blood from Luna's lips, and the kiss was returned as Candace pulled herself fully into the embrace, her own wings wrapping around Luna. Luna seemed to relish the contact, deepening the kiss, one leg lovingly wrapping around her barrel as the other pressed against the star. With slow, inexplicable force, Luna pushed the small burning speck as it melted its way into Candace's chest. Candace resisted screaming with all of her might, the few whimpers that tried to escape being engulfed by the kiss. The same kiss that she was clinging to as if it were a lifeline. The pain within Candace built. She could feel her magic wildly fluctuating, new sensations blossoming within her. Candace, being one of the few mortal ponies with more than one wellspring, was uniquely informed. She could feel another, a third wellspring being created within her. She can feel part of Luna, part of her love's magic become one with herself. A tiny piece of Luna would forever be a part of her. Luna pulled back from the kiss, Candace's mouth following for a short distance, love and want clear in both their eyes. She breathed in deeply, some of the darkness swirling into Luna's open mouth. Pressing forward and bringing Candace to the ground, she resumed the kiss, the irresistible force denying any chance of resistance, not that Candace even tried. She felt a liquid slide down her throat. She could feel its terrible, painful cold, and it tasted like nothing she could describe, but it left all of her senses tingling. As it settled within her, the cold sensation became pleasant instead of painful, like something had changed within her. Like how the warmth of the sun was pleasant to her when under Celestia, but now it seemed the cold of the night would be her home. The silver markings on her wings, hooves, and now tufted ear tips flared with energy and glowed brightly with the moonlight. All the pain that she had felt faded, her new wellspring settling down, the wonderful liquid soothing her injuries. Luna's hooves, wings, and magic began to explore Candace's now night-chosen body. Catching a glimpse through the mirror, she could see the changes slowly appearing on her real body. Her new eyes pried the darkness, allowing her to see the night guard watching in apparent awe, though Stryker was now holding a lot of bits. Luna didn't give her much time to watch as she did her best to make sure that this would be her best night ever. Candace didn't have any objections as the mirror was promptly forgotten. Her magic then suffused her body once more. Candace slowly woke up, wrapped in wings and hooves from behind. Her now sharper hearing could hear the heartbeat and breath of the pony holding her. Her body felt great, she felt alive, and she felt powerful. Her body could remember the pleasure from the night before, their clean, light perfume scents indicating that they had both been cleaned. It didn't take much for her to work out that she was in bed with Luna. Her sovereign, her love, was deeply asleep, and her mane seemed almost flat, like the etherealness of it had nearly been lost. The room was dark, but to her now slit eyes, it was as bright as day. Her body's new senses and what was happening hit her. The darkness of the room was now rich with new colors, and the shadows had as many unique shades as there were stars in the sky. Candace started a small experiment. She gathered her magic and tried sending it to Luna. She was hoping it would help her recover a little bit faster. She felt Luna accept the power, a smile crossing her lips, and then everything suddenly faded to darkness. The last thing that she heard before falling into unconsciousness was Insight's voice.
That doesn't seem like it was a good idea.
That was certainly interesting to say the least. Although one thing that I find funny is that there's a very big threat that they're aware of, and they're doing this. I mean, more power to you for the stress relief, I suppose. Anyways, let's get on to our blissful donators. Top donators: Peter Coulthard, J10Man, Darkside, Gauntlet, and Only One Thing. TacoCat598, Zar630, Strix, Raiden, Narwhals, Black Moonheart, Drake Lovedragon, Pastel Skies, Austin Roland, CrazyClaire557, Sue Hex, Will, Omicron Lyrae, Dospo, Delta Omega, Jack Cadge, RunesLife9852, Madman Stan, Leslie Prickett, Hudson Omen, Stephen Bingham, LineGod12, Sorcerer Constantine, Hut Zaza, Lifegiver, and many more awesome people. Thank you all so much for watching this video and live life to the fullest.